Mr. Sun shone so brightly, it felt as if the whole world belonged to him. His round face looked simple, but that simplicity itself was frighteningly perfect. The rays around him seemed like arms, ready to embrace anyone. He often played a game, moving his rays like fingers, shaping figures with them. Every morning, his glow greeted everyone with the same cheerful brightness. Looking at his smile was both pleasant and strangely uncanny. At times, it seemed too still, like a mask. Mr. Sun's body shifted an eye, stretched unnaturally across his face. It blinked slowly, as if awakening from a nightmare he could not escape. The dark mark inside him pulsed like a second mouth, ready to swallow. Every laugh he gave echoed with an empty metallic ring. Children once smiled at him, but now they hid from his gaze. His rays looked like blades, cutting the horizon with every twitch. The light he gave was no longer life, it was hunger. Mr. Sun's transformation was undeniable, his joy replaced by an endless stare. The eye consumed his entire face, wide and unfeeling. It rotated slowly, following anyone who dared look at him. He discovered a new hobby, watching dreams while creatures slept. Those who awoke swore they saw his eye inside their rooms. The warmth of his light burned away, leaving only a cold vigilance. The sun was no longer a guardian, it was a predator of minds. Mr. Sun's transformation grew worse. His rays melted into twitching tendrils. 3 crimson eyes burned where his calm face once was. They locked on to whoever moved, following with predatory precision. He began whispering back to people, using their own voices against them. At night, echoes of conversations filled the air, though no one was speaking. His grin widened, teeth forming where none had been before. The sun had turned into a puppet master of sound and fear. Mr. Sun's transformation was complete. He became an eye in endless night. His light, once warm, had turned into a suffocating black glow. The eye widened and contracted, like a living creature breathing. He collected nightmares, pulling them from the minds of the weak. Each scream only made his gaze brighter, more terrifying. The world beneath him shivered in silence, afraid to look up. The sun had become the perfect void. Mr. Sun had become an empty outline, a hole shaped like a star. The edges bled with faint red, like wounds in the sky. Within, something shifted forms, crawling, merging, then disappearing again. His favorite pastime was weaving these shadow creatures and sending them to wander. They had no bodies, only shapes of despair, dissolving when touched. Yet their whispers lingered in ears long after they were gone. The sun had become a doorway, and nightmares passed freely through. Mr. Sun had become a blade of night, his rays sharp enough to cut silence. In the center, his vertical eye burned with lifeless gray light. The stare was endless, swallowing courage from anyone who met it. He found pleasure in hunting dreamers, binding their visions into cages. Inside those cages, nightmares grew and fed on themselves. Every scream inside the dream world echoed back into reality. The sun was not a star anymore, it was a prison. Mr. Sun had become nothing but vision, pure and merciless. The giant eye floated in silence, radiating a chill that froze hope. Every line around it writhed, reaching like claws toward unseen prey. He played a new game, pulling voices from the waking world into dreams. People awoke to hear whispers that did not belong to them. The boundary between reality and nightmare was shredded under his gaze. The sun had become the gatekeeper of terror. Ready for a challenge? According to statistics, only 3% of viewers manage to like the video and subscribe to the channel before the timer runs out. Write a comment if you made it in time. Mr. Sun had become a watcher of all, a god of eyes. The central gaze swallowed sanity, while the smaller ones sought weakness. Each eye reflected horrors no one else could see. He enjoyed projecting false images into minds, twisting reality like a toy. Some saw loved ones turn into monsters. Others saw endless voids. His laughter echoed through every eye, overlapping into a storm of sound. The day itself became a hallucination, crafted by his will. Mr. Sun's transformation turned grotesque, his surface cracked like dead stone. A massive, blood-filled eye bulged from the center, swollen and restless. Dark rays dripped with fluid, twitching as if alive. He began breeding eyes inside his body, releasing them one by one. They rolled away, each carrying a shard of his gaze. At night, they crept into homes, climbing onto sleeping faces. The sun was not above anymore, it was in every shadow. Mr. Sun's transformation reached a grotesque peak. He was no longer a star, but a wound in the heavens. The enormous eye shifted constantly, veins pulsing with violent rhythm. The cracks around it spread wider, oozing black and red fluids. He became addicted to attention, luring mortals to meet his gaze. Their eyes burned, their souls fractured, until nothing of them remained. Every scream only made his stare burn brighter and stronger. The sun was no longer the source of life, it was the thief of it. Mr. Sun's transformation reached horror beyond recognition. His eye was no longer just sight, it was a furnace and a mouth. Teeth sprouted in bloody rows, circling his gaze. Every word he spoke came out as a roar that shook the world. He played with his prey, staring until they collapsed, then devouring them whole. The screams of the consumed echoed in his orange glow. The sun had become a beast, not a star. Mr. Sun was a monstrous eye, dripping with shadow and gore. His sclera was fractured, lined with rivers of crimson. Around him, spiked darkness spread like a crown of needles. He now collected sanity itself, shredding it into fragments. Those who looked into him saw endless corridors of horror. His laughter echoed in their minds, even after they turned away. The sun had become a curse that no one could escape. Mr. Sun's transformation was almost complete, a demon sun, an eye of domination. The vertical pupil widened, drawing minds into its abyss. His rays spread like blackened spikes, forming a crown of terror. He no longer needed screams. Silence itself became his weapon. He enjoyed bending people to his will, watching them betray themselves. Every thought they believed was already planted by him. The sun was no longer above them, it was inside them. Mr. Sun had become a shell of darkness, radiating red haze. His eye no longer looked outward, it devoured inward, collapsing reality. The tiny black core inside him throbbed with infinite hunger. He delighted in crafting doubles, reflections of the living. These shadows replaced their originals seamlessly, erasing them from memory. Entire villages could vanish overnight, yet still appear alive. The sun had become the author of false worlds. Mr. Sun's eyes stared with merciless calm, while his mouth tore reality apart. Every ray ended in blood-soaked edges, twitching like blades. The circle of teeth opened wider, swallowing both shadow and light. He delighted in shredding bodies, pulling them into his abyss. Every victim fed his glow, making the pale eye brighter. Silence followed his feasts, broken only by distant echoes of chewing. The sun was no longer light, it was consumption incarnate. Mr. Sun's form grew still, a star-shaped wound with a hollow eye. No light escaped him, he swallowed even the dimmest glow. The eye no longer blinked, for it was not alive but abyss. He played with existence itself, plucking pieces away one by one. Voices faded first, then faces, then whole souls collapsed into nothing. The world could not remember what it lost, only the silence left behind. The sun was no longer a star, it was the grave of reality.